I have 10 PS2 controllers, at least I think they're PS2 controllers. I don't know. Goodwill always kind of throws stuff together. And it is really rustly, huh? Let's put those down. Anyway, so I'm going to try to do 10 PS2 controller repairs. I haven't tested them. They're straight in the bag, as you saw. So we'll see. Usually takes me about 20 minutes to do a repair on these. Like 10 minutes to diagnose and diagnose, whatever. And then clean up. Probably takes a little bit of extra time. So let's see how fast it takes to do 10 PS2 controllers. I got a bunch of PS2s to get to eventually, so stay tuned for some of those. If you want to see some other old electronics repaired, who knows what I got. I got a lot of crap to get through, so let's get into it. And you know what to do, YouTube. Leave a comment, subscribe if you want. Like. All right, well, let's start with a small bag and just kind of inspect them. So I'm going to pull out my PS2 modded FAT just to test the controllers out. I tried to test on the computer and it just doesn't work so well, so we'll see how it actually. So overall, yeah, these look like DualShock 2s. That's a DualShock 2. Are these M's? H? I'm betting. Oh wow, that's an A. So a lot of, I'm gonna guess probably majority H's, because those were the most broken controllers of this generation. So the model numbers, it could be either an A, H, or an M. A's were manufactured in another company, H's at another, and M's at a different one. So the H's used like a ribbon cable that's soldered onto the board and you couldn't unattach the ribbon cable. I think A's and M's use the same little connector, so the connector actually mates with the cable and you don't have to resolder it, which is fantastic. But yeah, and there's also different pen sizes and all that, so we'll see if we can get a nice mix in here and I can show you the differences. But anyway, off the top of my head, that's what I remember about them. So it's not too bad to repair these, it's just kind of time consuming. And yeah, if you hear a little rattle, it usually means one of these screw posts are broken off, or one of the fins on here. There's also little tabs on top of here that are probably broken. So that'll be fun to see. Oh cool, another A. And then an H. Wow, it seems to be paired as A and H. Can this break the trend? I always like finding trends, that's why I have a spreadsheet. Recording all my times. Alright, well let's see here. H and A. Wow. Cool. That there. Yeah, this is like the toughest masking tape I've ever used. It's not really masking tape now, is it? Okay, well yeah, that's pretty obvious that it's a broken controller cable. Yeah, I'll set that off the side. That's not too bad. I think I have a few extra. Well, what model is that? An A? So that might actually work still. This is fix the cable. And an H. So the A's might actually have a bad stick, which, I don't know, I hate fixing the sticks. Oh, that's a tattered ribbon. Not ribbon, oh, another tattered controller. I don't think I have enough controller cables for 3. I know I have at least 2, so that's an H, and that's an A. Wow, so direct 50-50 split. Usually it's all H's. It's kind of unusual to get some A's. So anyway, I'm gonna save these probably for a lot later.
So my audio was kind of jacked up from this, but anyway, I used GTA 3 to test the vibration and the functionality of the controller. As you can see, I'm just kind of like moving around, D-pad, the joysticks, and then also the other button pushes. Because you can like sprint holding X and you push harder and it goes faster. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to cover that just to show you a little bit of insight. So I did that with all 10 controllers at the beginning, and then I do it once I finish testing and all that. So this will be like the only time you actually see me kind of using it on a PS2. And yeah, and so let's move on to the actual deconstruction and see what I screw up.
So just finished testing them all, and yeah, so let's go start. I'll clean each one as I go and replace the ribbons. Kind of time consuming. So start out with just unscrewing the screws. back plate just comes right off. We have these two little pads. I like to just push them through. Womp, womp. And then we're at the main board. And I believe this was an H, right? Yeah, this was an H. Ew, you can see the nastiness coming right through. That's pretty gross. So I'll need to desolder this since the ribbon cables I have are totally not the same, but I have a bunch of connectors. So hot air gun, a whole lot easier than hand soldering that. So it shouldn't be too bad. And so, yeah, we'll just get right into it. And then there's another 2 screws, I believe, holding it in, or at least 1 screw. They're all the same size screws, so you don't really need to keep track of what screws what. So it's not too bad. And so now, just take the carrier out. I like to take these out as well and clean them out. These pads look pretty good. Take them out as well. Yeah, they're pretty dang clean inside anyway. Oh, that's rare to actually have one of these that's not broken. Anyway, so we got these out. Yeah, that's pretty common for this little plastic piece to break off. Doesn't really impact the performance of the controller too much, but it does make that little clicking sound in there. Let's see, is there any other broken pieces in here? Nah, it doesn't look too bad. Alright, so I'll wash these off camera. And we got these little finger pads here, so the fat end's on top. And then this just comes right out. So I like to just cut the ribbon off. Oh, I just put it upside down in the container. Okay. So yeah, they cut pretty easy. Just boop. There we go. Nice sharp X-Acto knife. This should just come right out. And yeah, and then you kind of have to pop these out and just slide right in. Yep. And this just pops right off. So it's the closed pad ones. So let's see here. You can tell with the new ones I have, it's similar but not quite. Yeah, the new ones are a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna have to trim a little bit off of here, but yeah, it's not a big deal. So that can get just thrown away, and one of those. And then how many connectors? So there's 2 types of connectors. There's, I think, a 19 and a 20, or a 19 and 18. I have no idea. I can't count. So this one's the shorter one. So as long as you have the 1 pin less, it's fine. If you have 1 pin longer, that's also fine. It's just one of the pins is dead. It just fills in the void, basically. So this is the proper one. So it doesn't really matter all that much. I bought both just because I wasn't sure. So, and most H's are the same. It's usually the A's and M's that are going to be different. So, alright, so let me turn on my hot air gun. Huh. My hot air gun's broken. Yeah, it ain't hot at all. That ain't really hot now, is it? If it's not burning my hand, it ain't hot. We're not really salvaging this, so I'm going to try to pluck up each lead on this and hopefully get this damn thing removed. You know what? Might be easier just to, clip them off. Because I'm lazy. That's all engineering really is about, is just being as lazy as possible without breaking stuff. Or, I mean, breaking stuff while being lazy. I don't know. Whatever you want to interpret it as. I was just wasting my time trying to be nice and saving the damn thing. Boom, gone. Well, that was a whole lot easier than just using the hot air gun, right? Oh, man. Alright, so I'm just gonna go through with some solder, getting fresh solder on there, and some flux just to, let the solder flow a little better. Alright, we got it all there. Alright, you just gotta be careful about not breaking those rumble pack leads. So just kind of go through here, remove the pads that were left. Oh, I removed the pad. Cool. Alright, well, so I broke a couple pads. That's not a big deal. You just gotta kind of look where the traces are. Looks like that one's going to there. Looks like this one was just a dead pad anyway. I'll have to look at this under a microscope and make sure it's okay. So I'm just gonna set this all to the side because that's gonna take me a while and decom. Anyway, alright, well, on to the next. This is another 8. Two screws in there, out. Getting back inside. Alright, well, that's fun little hairs in there. Pull the triggers out from the other side. Boop, boop. Now this one's a whole lot cleaner. And then there's one screw holding in the board. And my nose is always stuffed. Man, that was a really long screw. Alright, and then this whole carriage comes out. These usually you can just slide up and down. Put these out. Oh, the pads look pretty good. Still clean them out. The start button one's looking a little scuffed here. And then, oh hey, this one actually has that too. That's not broken. Interesting. 2 for 2. Well, that's fun. And then get these little patty boys off. And then can't really get in there without cutting the cable off. Yeah, no going back now. This cuts right through it. And it comes right up there. Yeah, these usually look really nice too. So it's hard to tell whether or not the ribbon cable's bad just by physically looking at it. Generally, most of the time they are bad, so might as well get them off. So, gotta be a little bit more careful, I guess. Try not to tear the pads up. So then also try to sweep them off that way. That'll hopefully help. I'm going to use a little bit of flux too, just to try to make it as painless as possible. So, alright, clean it off with some cleaning metal sponge. Oop, and there goes part of a pad. As long as the portion isn't too bad. And it looks like the one I did screw up on the other one is also a non-connect, so I'm not too worried about that now. Alright, so how to do this without a hot air gun? Let's just make sure I have the right pin count on this one. So that's right, even though it doesn't really matter. Okay, since this pad down there is a little bit extra broken, kind of just touch it there. Anyway, Let's see here. What pin is that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So pin 7 is unconnected. Let me just make a little note here first before I forget. Have too much solder because you'll start bridging it together. Get the connector back on, or I should say the mounting plate. Generally, I don't know. I've always had a hard time getting this stupid thing on. The ribbon cable. So where's my ribbon cable? Whatever, I'll just grab a new one. So new one coming out. So you want these pads coming up. It's fairly easy, it just kind of snaps in. These, they never really fit properly because they're like a millimeter off, because the China people love making things not the right dimension. It makes stuff very fun and frustrating. Funnily frustrating. Yeah, so you can see they don't quite fit in right. And over time it is just going to kind of come up on you anyway, so trim them off a little bit. You just need to get a little bit of the size, don't cut too deep. So you can just kind of, generally it's just like right there at that tab, just need to slide off. And that just comes right there. Alright, and now that should be a whole lot more flush. And if you're really worried, you can use some Kapton tape and just flip it inside out. Try not to cover the contact point. Little carbon pad there. Heck, that might just be easier just to tape it down and be done with it. I'm just going to try that on this one. I am lazy. Gotta get stuff done quick. Wasted too much time today. Alright. So, I mean, that should be alright. Okay, you tuck this through here. And then try to get that into there as well. I can never get this in very easy at all. It's always a trial of error on my part. But you always want to have it close to this pin. I think that's in. Yeah, that's been pretty solid. Okay, and it just kind of falls over here. Right, there it is. And I'm just working off of where the flat parts are. Generally, the wires will go towards the board. It has to go above down. Yeah, it doesn't really matter where they go. It's all the same. Alright. There's all that. Alright, so I'll have it in that. Okay, well, that sure didn't take too long. So, let's get our pads in. It's always hard to get all the gunk out. It's much cleaner than it was before, but it's hard to tell when you're washing it. So, it doesn't smell like anything bad or anything, so put that into there. Put our D-pad in there. Your start and select and all that into there. And then our X is down there. That goes over. On the other side, this is the circle. This is the triangle. Okay, and get our button pads in. Get our ones in. And there. Ooh. Cool. And I always kind of want to hold it up because the sticks love to not go in their homes. So go down. I guess we could just hold off on these. That makes it a little easier. And the big one goes on top. Big one goes on top. And all that into place. What are you holding on to now, dude? Yeah, it's like flux got all over because I was touching the flux here. Make sure those are connected and tucked underneath so you don't crush them. Tucked underneath. Because they will break off very easily. And then make sure it all feels correct here. Feels pretty good. Make sure these are into that like that. And then the fun part, you get the 1 keys in, numbers face down away from you. As you're holding it like that, just pop them right in. 2 key, pop right in. 2 key, pop right in. And pops right in. So, feels pretty good. I didn't get too clean in there, but got most of the gamer juice off. The exterior is not too bad to clean off. It's just kind of like wipe with a toothbrush. My water rinse is just for, you know, a quick clean, get all that edge grime off. Just a quick little rinse to get bulk off of it. And so, one down, or I guess number 2 down. All right, so this is the remaining 3. I think I've already gone through 5. This one, broken cable, broken standoff, so I might salvage the board out of this and use it on another one. It's an A. So I did screw up a lot of these boards, but actually, you know what? I'm gonna call it quits for actually doing surface repairs, since I think I already screwed up a few of the connectors and boards. So for now, yeah, I'm just gonna call it quits. I need to get my new hot air gun. I've only gotten through 2 to actually work. So yeah, I'm gonna toss them back into my bin of other controllers to get back to later. Alright, so after working on 10, I only got 2 to work. So kinda... moral of the story is you need the proper tools. Yes, you can do it with improper tools, but it's always better and easier with the right tools. So I have a new hot air station on order, and that should make it a whole lot easier just to pull the connector off, and no need to use any force or anything on those pads. Traces are very easy to break and remove off of the surface of the boards. So all it is like 0.5 ounces of weight across the surface of FR4. But anyway, that's engineering crap. So yeah, once I get my hot air station, maybe I'll give this another go. But having 2 controllers back, I can actually start fixing up some PS2. So I might do a PS2 Slim just to get back into it and to the next one. But yeah, well, thanks for watching, and yeah, hopefully you learned something along with me. But anyway, yeah, see you next time.